are live for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 165 on this Monday, June the 8th, 2026, airing on X and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard. And I know there was supposed to be four of us today. I wasn't sure if Teddy was joining us, because who cares about the other guy that starts with the letter T? What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to ESP. We'll get the mics unmuted here. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Oh, there you go. There's the
doing good.
Say hello, Theodore. So Teddy is with us instead of Tom. Frankly, this is a bigger improvement. This is a bigger improvement. So we are good today. We're back, Rich from Rich's forced hiatus here.
Oh, yeah.
So.
A little bit of forced hiatus.
Yeah.
Sure. We could do that. But already Teddy with better takes than Tom today. Really do appreciate Teddy and Joe being aboard here on the bottom screen. Corey, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Listen, I know, glad to have you back. It's been a fun couple of weeks. We had a really, really fun weekend last weekend, celebrating both you and Alana. And it was a great weekend. Nice rehearsal dinner, good laughs. And then the wedding itself was a blast. I mean, I was telling Caitlin and a bunch of other people, I was like, I don't remember the last time I drank like that. And how I didn't even get sick or hungover or anything. I just rallied and went to work the next morning. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know either.
Insane.
I had a 4-hour drive down to Maryland in a van with 10 other people.
Oh,
so I tell you, and Rich will be the first one to tell you, nobody had more fun at Rich's wedding than Joe.
Joe had a great time. Joe, in fact, keeping up with the content. I know we've had a weird couple of weeks there. Had a live stream going on that Sunday night. He was going live on X, doing I think he did the simulcast space, which is something that we've actually never really even entered. So shout out to Joe for spotlighting the Venetian hour of all things on that Sunday broadcast, that last minute broadcast there. But no, a lot of fun, great time. Shout out to the wife. Still trying to get used to that. Still trying to get used to the ring as well. I mean, that's also kind of strange. You never wore, like, it's like one of those things, like I never wore a high school ring or college ring or any of those good things. So it's like I'm still trying to get used to this weight on my finger. It's a lot.
It takes time. It takes time, but you get used to it. I was honestly the same way. I never wore jewelry. The only jewelry I would wear on like a nice occasion, holiday, going out, I wear a watch sometimes. I never wear a chain. I never wore rings. I never got earrings. Never did it. You get used to it after a while.
Well, look, folks, we got an early start today. Big reason why. The New York Knicks are about to start Game 3 of the NBA championship, where they are currently up 2-0. So shockingly taking both games in San Antonio, and now they're headed to MSG for tonight's big Game 3. And I know there's going to be a lot of Knicks talk as we kind of work through the show today. Corey and I have something planned later on for one of our recurring segments, little Knicks theme to one of our fun segments later on tonight. So we'll get more into it later on. But usually I ask Tom about road back. Listen, Corey, you've worn your fair share of road back. Tom's accents. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want comfortable clothes, they got a ton of stuff. I got a ton of polos from them. I got some really, really comfortable khaki pants. I mean, they are probably the most comfortable khakis I have ever owned in my life, by far and away. I had nothing but praise for the Roback brand, and you can save 15% off your first order at roback.com by using our promo code TWOSPIL15. Again, that's 15% off your first order at roback.com using promo code TWOSPIL15. Highly recommend. I absolutely love their clothes. They have a phenomenal job.
Absolutely. And shout out to the good people over at Roback, because they present our Roback Rundown. And for tonight's show, we're back to the Empire Express, while the other three were holding it down with our Queen's Gambit and Bronx Burning team-specific segments. We're going to bring it all the way back around again to the EE, if you want to call it that. Talk Empire Express, talk Yanks, Mets, what's going on with them. Then we have a fun game called Lineup Card, and we finish things off with our New York Strike Exchange, see what our values are at on our players. Joe is getting a treatment, some little bit of dental work with some pens. Don't know if that's going to work out well for Joe. We'll find out how it goes. But let's get into it. We are going to kick things off. You know what? We'll kick things off with the Mets since this is we got two of you guys here. So we'll start things off with the New York Mets here, Corey and Joe. And Joe, we'll start with you. So we're going to tackle the Empire Express a little differently here. We got some headlines that I really want to go down. And let's start with the top, heading in the right path. 7-3 in the last 10 games, which is surprising. I mean, I know this is probably the least favorable thumbnail that's out there when we asked, is the season over? I might have made that over the weekend after some New York losses prior to Sunday, where the Yankees and Mets actually did end up splitting/winning their series. But for the New York Mets, Joe, 7-3 in the last 10. So, I mean, yes, you're happy with it. You're still looking at the bottom of the standings, but what are we thinking about these New York Mets who've been playing good ball as a league?
I mean, it's frustrating to watch, to say the least, because, listen, we knew they weren't as bad as they were in April, right? Like that, there's just no way. They went on an 11-game losing streak. Okay, it happened at a bad time. They lost Soto for a while. They lost Lindor once Soto came back. And really, Teddy? And so the team that they were in that time was not emblematic of the team that they actually are. Now, am I saying they're a playoff caliber team? At the moment, they're not. But they are playing better baseball, led by the fact that Juan Soto has been phenomenal for them, led by the fact that Carson Bench looks like the Mets have that cornerstone piece they dreamed of heading into this year. And we'll get to the Bulls and Bears later on. But that looks like something I can guarantee you Mr. Benj is probably on the good list this month. But they've had an interesting schedule. They've played every West Coast team on the West Coast so far. They do not have a game that starts later than 8 p.m. until the last game of the last series of the season where they're playing the Texas Rangers. They don't have a game west of the Mississippi until they play the Texas Rangers last week of the season. So the Mets have gotten even though the winning percentage hasn't been bad, they've gotten the travel portion of their schedule out of the way. The real season really begins today because you got the Cardinals, and now you got a run where you're playing the Braves and the Phillies multiple times in the next 30 days. And if you want to see, can we compete with the Braves and Phillies? The answer is probably you can't compete with the Braves. They're on a heater right now. The question is, can you compete with the Phillies? And that's going to be the magic question when they start playing these top division teams in their own division. It's a chance for them to catch up. It's a chance to level the division out. Again, I don't think the Braves are reachable at all, but for the Phillies, you do have a chance to reach them. You're 6.5 back. I believe the Mets are 5 games out of the third wild card spot. So if you can get yourself to the end of June, if you can get yourself to the All-Star break and get Francisco Lindor back, I don't know where Polanco is, but Francisco Alvarez is coming back. If you can get that, you at least have a chance to start playing decent baseball, and you've kept yourself afloat to say, okay, can we make a couple moves that give us an opportunity to make the playoffs in one of these last wildcard spots? And the one last thing before I let you and Corey go is the rest of the National League is a mess at the moment. The Cubs run on their own. I think they lost 11-13 at one point. The Padres have lost 13 of 15. You got the Pirates and the Cardinals playing much better than you expect them to, and none of the other teams look that strong. I mean, the Nationals are 500. The Nationals aren't a 500 team. So if the Mets really can kind of still figure out a way to play competent baseball, they can see themselves in a position where come the All-Star break, they're still in the game.
Now, Corey, Joe just mentioned really in the second point, so I'll just address it to you right there. 5 games out of the NL wild card 3 spot. Now, I think we're going to get to a point where that NL East standings graphic is going to flip to an NL wild card graphic. But is a 2026 postseason push still worthwhile to you?
Honestly, the crazy thing is that despite the bad stretch in April, and then they had a miserable week, that whole week of leading into Memorial Day and just after killed all their momentum. And when they reset the good first half of May they had. But the crazy thing is, it's 5 games. And we're talking about 5 games in the middle of June. That is absolutely nothing. And like Joe said, none of these other teams in the National League, outside of your division leaders, the Braves, the Dodgers, even the Brewers now built themselves a nice little cushion in the Central. Outside of those teams, there is no other team that scares me. Maybe Philadelphia, only because it's Philadelphia. It's a big rival. They got some big names out there. They can hit the ball. But the Mets had their number quite a bit over the last couple of years. So even they're not necessarily a true powerhouse, in my opinion. So I do think the wild card is wide open. That is the beauty, especially in today's age where you have that third game. And yeah, I do think it waters down the regular season slightly. But the postseason has actually been I think a little more exciting with the extra wild card team and how they've done it and having a best of 3, especially having witnessed it now firsthand with the team that advanced out of the best of 3. It was a fun series with the Brewers. So, we'll see what happens. So it's certainly not over. The biggest problem, though, I think about with the Mets, and this is what gets me, because that Memorial Day stretch, I'll say the week before through the series after, because they played the Reds Memorial Day and a couple of days after that where they got swept. That week took so much out of me mentally because the Mets had a grind, and they made a little bit of ground. They had a really good first 3 weeks of May. Really good. At the beginning of May, we said, hey, if the Mets hit this number by Memorial Day, I'll consider it very happy. And the Mets were basically right there. They ended up missing my number because they folded versus the Marlins at the end. But in 3 phenomenal weeks in the first half of May was completely erased by 1 bad week. The Mets they were 11 down, I think, at the start of May. Got all the way back. I think their lowest point, they got to like 6 under 500 or 5 under 500. So they made a good ground. Took them 3 weeks to do that. Within 1 week, they were back to 11 under 500. And that just goes to show when you're playing from behind, this far behind, you can't really afford 1 or 2 of those tough weeks. Now, if you're in a position like the Yankees, okay, the Yankees, they haven't really been playing their best baseball of late, too. But the good thing with them is they weren't in a position where they were 10 under 500. They can hit a little bit of a tough stretch and be fine. Actually, 6-4 in their last 10, so maybe they stabilized it a little bit. But you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, they're still in first place. They've only won 3 in their last 10. When you build yourself a big lead, you could afford those weeks. The Mets right now cannot. The Mets right now are also, like Joe said before, this is their toughest part of the schedule. At least the West Coast trip is done. That's great. I don't want to be thinking too much about playoffs right now, especially when one of my other teams is in the finals. But let's fast forward a week or 2. The Knicks will be done. Regardless what happens with the Knicks, that series is going to be over within the next week and a half. Then all the focus is on baseball. There's no other active sports at that point. Football is still a ways away. So it's going to be only on the Mets. And maybe I'll get back into it, but I think that what you have to see from the Mets in this stretch for me to seriously believe the run, just don't get embarrassed by these teams. You have the Cardinals, the Braves, and the Phillies. Let's say you lose against the Braves. Let's say you win 1 game, 1-2. Take 2 of 3 from the other 2 teams, and I think you're in a decent spot, and I think you're definitely in it. But, gun to my head right now, I say no. But 5 games in June is nothing.
Here's the question I have, right? The Mets are 5 game out of the third wild card, and they got 6 teams in front of them. Stop me when you hear the team that you genuinely think has more talent than the Mets when you consider the roster. The Miami Marlins, the Cincinnati Reds, the Washington Nationals, the Chicago Cubs, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the San Diego Padres. And then you have the Diamondbacks in front of them. So tell me what team is so, especially if the Mets get Lindor back, the Mets still have problems, right? Vientos is a problem. They don't have a first baseman. But when you look at those other teams, you know what those other teams don't have? Don't have Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor in the heart of the order. Most of those teams don't even have it, except for the
Pirates. Right now, the Mets don't have Francisco Lindor in the heart of the order. You mentioned the Padres and the Cubs. I think the Padres and the Cubs are two of the more disappointing teams in the National League because from a talent perspective, from an overall team perspective, they should be in that same conversation with the Mets when it comes to playoff teams. So I know you mentioned talent, but at the same time, I'm like, the Cubs, Padres, and Mets should be there, and they're not there. So what's stopping these teams from being like?
It's true.
I can see this conversation in 2 weeks' time because I'm not going to be here next Monday. You guys will be here next Monday. I won't be here. But in 2 Mondays from now, I can see this conversation either going, the Mets are back in it or the season's done.
Yeah.
I think that's the position your team's in right now.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I have to see them do it versus the good teams, versus the tough part of their schedule, because April was the cupcake part of the schedule, and part of May was too, and they kind of failed. They failed in the cupcake part. Now, going back to Joe's point real quick, last point I want to bring up on that, of all those wild card teams you mentioned, plus the Cardinals, plus the Phillies, who are 1 and 2 right now, the only one I would pause and say, yeah, that team is better right now is probably the Phillies. And it's not because I don't think the Phillies are light years better than the Mets. I think the Mets could easily beat the Phillies. They've done it before, a lot recently. I just think the Phillies have been in the postseason so many times recently. They have the big names. That's the only team that I think is a serious threat. None of those other teams to me are a serious threat.
The Phillies is funny because if you look at the Mets and Phillies, the Mets have scored 3 more runs than the Phillies this year, and they've given up 11 less runs than the Phillies this year. And the Phillies are 5 games above 500. The Mets are 7 games under 500, which goes to tell you how crazy baseball is sometimes. But if I'm going by the ancillary stats, the Mets are not that far different than all these other teams. Also, the St. Louis Cardinals are 35 and 28. Can anybody look at the St. Louis Cardinal roster and tell me that they are number 1 wild card team?
Baseball's weird, dude. And we'll get into it in the American League side. Joe, there's currently an American League team right now that has a playoff spot and they're below 500. So, I mean, baseball is very weird right now. There's a lot of really bad teams that are claiming playoff spots, and I can't believe it. Now, last note here is Jorge Polanco did get shut down due to sore ankle. I didn't really want to get into it so much there. I mean, Polanco was signed initially to be the Mets starting first baseman / DH. So his rehab assignment is now halted. Joe, real quick note on not only just Polanco, but the first base position overall. Is that a position of worry for you? Are you okay with who's currently there? I know you've been seeing Jared Young, Mark Vientos, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a black hole right now. It's a problem. I think we're done with Vientos. I know he had a couple hot streaks early in the year. I think we're done with him. I mean, he's at the point his on-base percentage is less than 250. We can't play him anymore. Jared Young came off the IL and he's actually looked decent.
Yep.
I think that's one of those things of diminishing returns. The first baseman at this particular moment, I don't think is on the roster. You're either going to have to decide that you can live with the Jared Young. I don't even know if we're going to see Polanco. I got a funny feeling this is going to be a lost year for Polanco. They are going to have to go out and figure out a way to fill the first base hole that Pete Alonso left. And whether that's Ryan Clifford from the minor leagues, whether that's a trade, maybe Contreras from the Red Sox is up for grabs if the Red Sox season is over. They're in a similar position as the Mets, but if you're not seeing upward mobility for the Mets,
doesn't matter.
You're not going to be acquiring anybody.
Doesn't matter anyway. Yeah,
correct. At that point, you call up Clifford and just see if he could be the guy next year. But yeah, first base this year is their weakest spot.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Yankees side of the house. We'll fly through it because we are still trying to meet an 8:30 cutoff, so we can get over to Knicks basketball here. And here's what the Yankees stand. And for the Yankees, Corey mentioned before, 6-4 in their last 10 games. I took the piss out of it with the another June SWOON since 2-3 since the month started, and arguably since Aaron Judge went on the IL. Now, Of course, this is the biggest news coming out of the week with Judge's injury. It went from just a day off to shoulder soreness to potential TOS to stress fracture in the rib. And the next note on him comes in 4 to 6 weeks when there's there's more additional imaging on what's going on there with Aaron Judge. Now, looking beyond 2026, all the way back in 2019, Aaron Judge had a similar injury to his right rib cage. And it did put him on the shelf for a long time. So really when it comes down to Judge, I mean, look, the news is out there. He may be out until at least August, if lucky. But where does this leave the New York Yankees? Are the Yankees going to see a downfall now that they cannot recover from? Or could this potentially be something we saw in 2019 where Judge was on the shelf, Giancarlo Stanton was on the shelf, and the team just called on the next guy, and they continue to win baseball games to a 103 clip, primarily without Judge and Stanton. Now, 2019, 7 seasons ago. We live in a different era of baseball. We're definitely living without the juice ball now. But Joe, Corey, when you hear this news, were you thinking instantly the Yankee season is shot?
I don't think so. I didn't think so because the Yankees are in a position where the AL is weak enough and they have put themselves in close enough position early on that they can survive without Judge. Now, survive is a relative term, right? Can the Yankees make the playoffs without Aaron Judge? I think the answer is yes. I think they have enough pitching and they have enough offense. You cannot replace that caliber of player, but I think the Yankees have put themselves in a position where they're in the middle of it. They've got a comfortable cushion, and they're going to be fine. They're going to be in the playoffs. Now, if we're talking, 6 weeks from now, we get the news on Aaron Judge, his healing hasn't been as fast as we thought or something, and he is not going to be back for, potentially the rest of the year. If you get bad news there, I think what the term of success is going to change for the Yankees.
Right.
Can they be a playoff team? Can they make the playoffs? I think the answer is yes, no matter what. Can they win a World Series without Aaron Judge? And I think the answer is most certainly no.
Right.
Because he's just not a replaceable part. You know what? Rice is having a great year. He's been one of the best offensive players in the AL this year. There's no question about that. Does part of that come from having Aaron Judge hitting behind you? I think we're going to find out. Mm-hmm. Is Cody Bellinger a really good baseball player? Yes. Is his biggest flaw right now is that he is a below average baseball player outside of Yankee Stadium? Yes. And I think that's a question mark that they're going to have to fill. I think those questions have to be answered partially by Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. They have to see what production they can get out of them. But certainly I think the Yankees' biggest need is going to be a bat going forward. They need to solve an issue somewhere on this team, and whether that's shortstop, whether that's third base, whether that's somebody from the DH position, whether it's Stanton coming back, they have an offensive issue right now that is they're going to have to survive. They're going to have to win a lot of games 3-2, 4-3, 2-1. And luckily their pitching staff is good enough that they can do that. But if you get regression in the pitching staff, you get regression from guys like Cam Schlittler, who's having a career year. You might find yourself in a really tough spot come the deadline where you're waiting for Aaron Judge to get healthy. You're looking for bats, and you're just not sure where you stand overall coming in, because it's going to be hard to evaluate your team. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but they need Aaron Judge to be a World Series contender. That's my opinion. You don't and the Yankees, playoffs isn't enough for the Yankees, especially at this point. They need Aaron Judge. Otherwise, they're not. They got no shot against the Dodgers. They got no shot against the Braves.
100%. I mean, here's the thing with the Yankees and Judge. I think he comes back. I think you're going to see late August, maybe September 1st. I think he's back. But for the purpose of the conversation, let's pretend he's out for the year. Just for the purpose of the conversation. I pretty much agree with Joe. I still feel extremely confident. I would give a 95% confidence ranking that the Yankees are going to be a playoff team, even if Judge is out for the whole year, which I don't think he is. So 95% chance to make the playoffs. The playoffs, though, is where it gets tough. because you are losing a generational player, not just your best player, generational player out there in Judge. But the one good thing that this Yankees team has that maybe some of the more recent ones haven't is the team not carried by their offense. Yeah, Judge had some good numbers. I know not so much before he got hurt, but he's still, he's still Judge. Ben Rice is having a breakout year. Bellinger's good at home. Goldschmidt's been good lately, but it's been a team that's been carried by their pitching as opposed to their offense. I mean, Cam Schlittler, absolutely phenomenal so far this year. You got Garrett Cole back, and he's looked pretty good in just a few starts. I know Rodon looks a little better than he did when he first came off the IL. So yeah, him back at some point. I don't know exactly when. You're gonna have Max Fried back at some point. So it's a team where their starting pitching could carry them. And in the playoffs, good pitching tends to beat good offense. But the problem is if you're going out there each game and only squeaking 2-3 runs.
Corey, you're on mute.
Corey, we lost your mic.
Corey, we lost Corey's microphone. Don't know what happened here as he's trying to figure it out. No, we do not. So Corey's microphone cut out. Oh, I think we just gained his mic, so I think he's good now. Let's try him again. No, he's still on mute. He's still hurting. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to unmute him too. So I don't know. Corey is navigating his microphone. Yeah. We're good now. Yes, we're good now.
I was basically just going to try to wrap up that point by saying Yankees, I think, regardless, let's assume Judge is out, they're a playoff team. I think they win a playoff series or two. The problem is when you get to the really, really good teams who also have some good pitching, but have an overall deeper team and a deeper bullpen, because the bullpen is also a weakness for the Yankees. They're going to have to address that plus offense at the deadline. So we'll see what happens.
So the point, I guess, between both teams, I'm going to spin it this way. Between both teams right now, this thumbnail is a lot of bullshit because clearly the season's not over. Clearly, baseball right now has a problem with producing good teams across the board. I just mentioned before, the American League wildcard race currently has the Texas Rangers, who are 32-33, claiming a wild card spot. You have teams that for years have been at the top of their respective divisions. 30-37 Astros, 27-36 Red Sox, 27-39 Tigers, 27-39 Royals. I mean, these are teams that were playoff teams over the last 2 seasons. Flip it over to the National League as well. If anything, and look, the Mets have ground to make up, but because of the Yankees' good start to the season, the first 2-month Yankees have saved this version of the Yankees. And I think you guys are right. I think the Yankees are still a playoff team, even with Judge on the mend for the majority of this season. I think where the Yankees have gotten their production from Ben Rice, which is a surprise to many because you look at the Ben Rice line, you hide the name, you think it's Aaron Judge's line. I mean, he's been that good this year. The Yankees do need to challenge. Joe's absolutely right. The Yankees do need to channel their efforts at the trade deadline for more offense. I would love to address the Tarek Skubal thing, but I know we're going to have several different trade deadline episodes over the next few weeks. I just think that's a ridiculous notion that the Yankees, of all things they need, is more starting pitching. Look, you have the assets to acquire Tarek Skubal. That means you have the assets to acquire an impact bat by the trade deadline.
It never made sense. Let's put it to you this way, Rich. If Max Fried, Garrett Cole, Cam Schlittler, and Carlos Rodon are not enough to win you a championship, you have bigger issues, right?
100%.
If that pitching staff can't get you to a World Series, who's going to be the odd guy out if you
when far less has gotten you there? I mean, the Yankees' 2024 postseason run was made out of rotation of Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and Clark Schmidt.
And not
that was your 3
coming back at some point.
That was your 3 that led to a World Series. Now you're adding Cam Schlittler, who's been God. You're adding Max Fried, who's been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, to the mix of those 3. I don't even know what Clark Schmidt's going to be doing. Bagging groceries at Yankee State? I have no idea. I don't even think he can get groceries at Yankee Stadium, but he's going to try. Look, I think this team is perfectly fine when it comes to their starting rotation. And look, they have young guys that can step into the mix. If guys go down, they need spot starts. I'm not worried about that at all. So, folks, please, I don't know who's pushing this Tarek Skubal narrative. Oh, you got to get Tarek Skubal if he's available. I saw John Heyman today said, People should be aggressive to treat Tarek Skubal like folks treated CeCe Sabathia in the 2008 trade deadline.
Yeah.
Great. That should be another team that needs the starting pitcher. The Yankees do not need it. And if they have the assets to acquire Skubal, then you have the assets to go out and acquire a big bat. And I'm not saying it's going to be this kind of player, but the Astros could trade Yordan Alvarez. Wouldn't you want Yordan Alvarez in that lineup? Probably not, because you're so lefty heavy to begin with. But there is somebody out there, right-handed hitter, that fits a need, that you can use those pitching assets, that you can use some of those prospects, that you can use a Spencer Jones towards. Figure that out. That's your move. And again, I mentioned before, over the next few weeks, we'll start we'll start trade deadline episodes. We'll go through our trade mocks, which are a lot of fun. And of course, guys, I have to say it right now. I mean, it's tradition. But we're going to return with our MLB trade deadline episode.
Leslie was great.
I believe on August the 1st.
It's a Monday. I think August 1st is a Monday too.
Yes,
it's a Monday.
August the 3rd.
August the 3rd. You're correct. Yes. It is a Monday.
It
is a Monday. So that works out. So as opposed to our regular ESP Monday show, what we will do is have a trade deadline special that happens. I think the way we did it last year, we did it an hour before the deadline ended, and then went another half hour to hour after it officially closed at 6 o'clock. So
and that was the most active deadline we've had in years. Phenomenal deadline last year.
It was the best. Yeah. I mean, as far as podcast live streams, it was the best episode I've ever done. I mean, 100%. It was a lot of fun, a lot of stuff happening. And I got to think, guys, with, the lockout looming, that this trade deadline is going to be crazy too. Like, this one's going to be a nut job one. Maybe the Tigers dangle Skubal on for that last minute. We get their live Skubal reaction on the show.
That would be great.
That'd be awesome stuff.
And the funny thing is, I think the Mets are going to end up being buyers. Despite being under 500 so long, I think the Mets are going to be buyers. So we'll see what happens.
It will be wild stuff. Hey, Corey, let's turn it right back to you. Let's talk Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Empire State of Baseball, and the same on TikTok at Empire State of Baseball. On Instagram, we've been hovering right around 8,000 plus a couple, lower than a couple, give or take here and there. So we're just under 8K right now. And TikTok, 200 plus. So thank you for the growth on the TikTok. So go ahead. You'll find archive segments, previews, meme reels, you name it. You'll find it there at Empire State of Baseball on both Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. All right, let's get into it. We have a lineup card for tonight's game. We're without Thomas, but Thomas right now, and actually we're all still in relatively good shape when it comes to the standings. And I thought I'd be so far behind everybody else because I missed a few episodes, but I'm right there in the conversation. I mean, I could pick up these numbers tonight and climb up there on Joe, who's in first place. So our game tonight is lineup card. Corey and I got together. We were talking about this and we were like, look, we have a big postseason happening in the NBA. The Knicks are in the finals. They begin game 3 in a little bit. And I will credit Corey Favs for this idea because he sent me the lineup that was going in for tonight's game. And I was like, I'll see you there. So Corey Favs, why don't you get us kicked off with your lineup card from a historic Mets team?
Yeah, we're going to go way back, a little further than I think we've done with any of the lineup cards before with the Mets. So this was actually May 6, 1973. This was Game 3, the Knicks' first home game of their last championship victory. So I thought, very fitting because tonight's also a Game 3. So with this lineup card, again, we're missing 3 players, the 3-hitter, the 4-hitter, and the 8-hitter.
Now, we will go in an order because there's multiple guesses here. I will take the first guess since I won't be able to guess in the next one. Then Joe's going to go. We'll go back and forth. We'll do a 3 at-bat policy. So if I get one right on my at-bat, that's my at-bat. So 3 at-bats as opposed to 3 Ks. So I'm going to kick us off. And I'm going to tell you right now, Joe, it's advantage you because I really don't know if I can name 1973 Mets. I mean, I think a fun name to go with to kick us off is, I don't even know what position he was playing. Batting third, Ed Kranepool.
It's not Ed Kranepool. He was on the team, but he did not start this game.
Okay for me. Joe?
I was hoping Kranepool would be there.
Joe, you're on mute.
I'll go with, I'm going to say he played his traditional positions and batted where he usually batted. I'm going to go number 3, Willie Mays in center field.
That is correct. I think this was his last year as well with the in baseball. I think it was his last year.
That's a hit for Joe. All right, second at bats. So Willie Mays batting third, and he's in center field. So we are missing right field and shortstop. 1973 Mets. God. I'll take a backwards K to just keep us going here.
Let's see. Outfield, I'm not sure. I got Whit Mays, so let's go shortstop Bud Harrelson at 8.
It is Bud Harrelson.
Okay.
Yep.
2 for 2 for Joe.
This is a tough one for Rich.
So we're down to what? Right field batting fourth?
Right field batting.
Correct.
Right fielding batting fourth. Oh, boy. 1973 Mets. It's not even like a title team.
I know. I think they lost the game, too.
And I know you, Corey. I feel like you would go with probably the 3 most known names in this group since we're going back.
Yeah.
I could have went George Theodore.
Nobody
George
would have
Theodore.
gotten that one.
Oh, God. Who the hell was on this team? Right field. I feel like a dummy, but I'm going to take another K. I don't know.
All right,
I really don't know. Joe, can sweep the board here.
No, right field. I don't think he was there then. I think he was gone. Tommy Agee, right field.
Is not AG. So we're doing the
Joe goes
3
2
at
for
bat.
3. So Corey, who is it?
Rich, you're going to kill yourself because you've mentioned his name a few times. Rusty Staub, right field.
Oh,
And that's why I was like, I feel like Rich might get Staub.
Mom's favorite player. Unbelievable.
Was that like your mom's
Corey
favorite player
2 for Joe. Unbelievable. Rusty Staub. I literally had to think of the one old Met my mother had mentioned multiple times.
Yeah.
Wow. Rusty Staub. All right, so 2 points for Joe. He adds to his lead. He's up to 10 now. Corey adds 1. I think now you're up to 8. So let's flip it over to the Yankee side. Maybe I can make up some ground playing defense. Look, Corey was the inspiration for this. I'm sticking with 1973 as well. It's last year the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. So we're sticking with it. And here we go. We have May 8th, 1973. It's game 4 of the 73 championship series. And we got to go back because look at the Twins logo. Yankees versus Twins at Metropolitan Stadium. There's your lineup. We're missing our 2-hitter, our 4-hitter, and 9-hitter. And I will say, I wish Tom was here because I feel like Tom would at least get a couple of these names. I mean, the names I have, you're going to know the names. I'm not leaving off anybody that's an unknown here. The unknowns are up there.
Oh.
So, Corey, we'll start with you because you had to defend last time and then go to Joe. Same deal. 3 bets.
All right, let's see. We're missing left. We're missing center. And we're missing short. Let's see. You got Mills there. You got Munson. Oh, God. Left, center, short. And they're players you say at least we've heard of. They're notable names. They're not bums.
I'll give you a hint off the rip before anybody even takes a guess. None of these guys are Hall of Famers, but they are Yankee fan favorites.
Yankee fan favorites, not Hall of Famers. Oh, God. Backwards K.
Backwards K for Corey. Joe?
I'm gonna guess the one. I think I know the one guy. I wouldn't. Let's go Bobby Mercer at 4, center field.
You nailed it. Bobby Mercer hitting 4th in center field. Good job, Joe. That's a point.
Damn. Okay.
I don't think I'm getting the shortstop.
That is really good.
Or the left field. Who the frick is that?
All right, Corey, back to you. Joe's got 3 points tonight.
Left field shortstop.
Oh, God. '73 Yankees.
I'm trying to think of my old not MLB the Show. Whatever the baseball mogul days, all the old baseball mogul franchises. Who's an old shortstop? I don't even think he was a Yankee. Fuck. Old shortstops.
I'm trying to think of a guy with mustaches.
And the number
That's
9.
exactly what I'm trying to think of.
We're missing a shortstop and a left fielder.
Tony Fernandez, shortstop.
Way too early for that one.
All right.
K, not Tony Fernandez. You're about 20 years early on the Tony Fernandez guys. Just trying to throw that out there.
I don't know. Shortstop. God. And left field. Who would that? I don't even know.
Field.
You know what the funny thing is? Let's go hidden second, left field. I think it's too early. Bobby Bonds.
It is not Bobby Bonds. I like the idea, though. I like where you're thinking. It's a K.
Yeah.
I like where you're thinking. All right, last set here. We're still missing our left fielder. And I'll say the left fielder is hitting second and the shortstop is hitting ninth.
Okay. So Bobby Bonds was on the right track.
The history of Yankee shortstops outside of Jeter is not that good.
But you know what? This one was significant in other ways. I'll just leave it at that.
Left field, batting 2. It's a decent player, athletic, probably. I mean, I literally have no idea. So I'm just going to say because Joe and Barry Bonds is on the right track, I'll go Ken Griffey Sr.
Incorrect.
Just figure it's the only thing I can think of.
I think that was too early. Famous in other ways. So, is he a broadcaster? Is it Gene Michael at shortstop? I'm going to assume that
it is Gene Stick Michael at shortstop.
Oh,
wow. Wow.
You gave that hint.
Wow.
Like, so it's either a coach or a broadcaster.
Damn.
So yeah, Gene Stick Michael is correct, batting ninth. Now I will take my point. The number 2 hitter is left fielder Roy White. Multiple-time World Series champion with these New York Yankees.
I would never gotten that.
I never got it. Yeah.
Never gotten it. You know what? Roy White's interesting because he feels in Yankee history feels obscure.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
if you go,
I'm sure if you go look at his career, it's probably a lot better than the average. You know what? Let's look up. I'm just curious.
I'll throw it to you right now. I mean, Roy White played all of his career with the Yankees, 1965 to 1979, all 15 years were with the Yanks. Had a career batting average of 271, an OPS of 764. Not really a big home run hitter, but big on base guy. 360, 2-time All-Star, was in MVP conversation, never won the award. So I mean, this was a good player the Yankees had. Very much like you said, like not overly respected because you think of those 70s teams, you think in Munson, you think in Nettles, you think in Reggie Jackson. Roy White was a big contributor for those teams as well. So that is.
I will say, I went back and looked up Ken Griffey Sr. just out of curiosity. I actually hit his rookie year. He didn't play in 1973. I'm just like 13 years early on the Yankees.
So Corey and I obviously sticking with the theme of 73, the final time the Knicks had won the championship. Now, look, I know it's 8:15. We still have New York Strike Exchange. We'll get through it really quickly, but like real quick, what are we thinking about the vibe here with these New York Knicks, man? We're 2 games out from closing out a series. They take both in San Antonio. They've been unbelievable throughout the series ever since they took that second loss to the Atlanta Hawks. Have not dropped the game since. Corey, Favs, Joe, what's the vibe like with New York Knicks?
It's with the Knicks right now. I mean, vibe can be better to take two. You're the underdog in the series, so to take the first two on the road, you literally could not draw up a better start. Now it's far from over. It's still a long series. Um, but there's been a couple of shots like that Wemby shot that could have won the game. There was another shot in the I'll just say this: shots that have been killing the Knicks for years. There was one. It was versus the Cavs a couple series back. The Spurs with Wemby the other night that always fell against the Knicks, and they're hitting the rim this year, whatever reason it is. And Brunson, that whole team just plays together well. They're not selfish. The amount of times they're passing the ball, they're a true team. I want to see them go out and win tonight to eliminate hope. Because I think if they come out and win tonight, the Spurs' hope is gone. I think they're going to be deflated. If the Knicks win tonight, I think the Knicks win by about 25 in game 4. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game tonight.
Joe?
Yeah, listen, I mean, the vibe is in the city is insane. It's crazy right now. They got the president coming to this game. They got all sorts of stuff going on, but it's $10,000 to walk in the building. But you know, this is the first time it feels like the Knicks have a chance to win since 1973, and that's a crazy feeling. So I think, you know, we're at the point here where this is you know, going to be something special for New York. Again, they got a long way to go. We still got 5 games left. But the vibe right now for these Knicks is unbelievable. And, you know, this is something that the entire city has waited 50-something years to happen. And this is a big, big time event. And we're going to see. I mean, you know, like I said, everybody's worried about the president being there and this and that and add into the chaos and the confusion. I would not want to be in the city right now. But at the end of the day, there's going to be 20, 30 million people watching these games.
Yeah.
And the vibe in New York is electric. And we know when New York, when we're in the finals or World Series or something, the city comes alive. Every bar, every restaurant has these games on. All eyes are watching, even if they're not at home watching, they're watching. So at the end of the day, it's going to be fascinating to see. I hope everybody gets into the stadium tonight. I hope everybody can deal with the craziness. So yeah, we're looking forward to it, and hopefully, you know, that this game goes off without any issues tonight.
Absolutely. So looking forward to that. That's why we started early today, so we could try to not interfere with the Knicks. So we'll get through the rest of the show quickly. We still have a New York Strike Exchange, a trading floor, but we'll fly through our last segment here. Joe, real quick though, before we get into it, let's talk YouTube.
Yes. You can view us live on X, but YouTube is our preferred platform. Why? We can interact with you here in the chat. So go over to YouTube, type in Empire State of Baseball, and hit that subscribe button. It's free. Don't forget, and check out our videos. We go live every Monday. We're going to be back on a normal schedule now that Rich is married. So we're going to be okay. We're going to be here quite more often than we have the last few weeks. And hopefully the Knicks wrap this up quick. And then by this time next week, we don't have to worry about the Knicks anymore. So
yeah, we tried to avoid the schedule thing, and obviously for our crowd's sake, I think they were still anticipating an 8:00 show. So I think they started showing up a little late. We have 50 people in the building. Shout out to everybody in here. Let's go Knicks. And yeah, as far as our schedule goes, we're gonna start phasing back into it. It will be a little bit slow, but like Joe and Corey kind of mentioned, over the next couple of weeks, when we get a little bit more into exclusively baseball, we'll be back on our normal cadence with all our shows. So just bear with us. Okay, let's get into it. New York Strike Exchange. We'll get through this real quickly. We have about 10, 15 minutes until game gets started here. So Corey, Favs, why don't you kick us off with our Bears list?
Let's go and look at the Bears list. And it's been a little bit since we did this, so we're going way back to May 4th when we did our nice Star Wars episode, all the way through yesterday, June 7th. So at the bottom there, Tim Hill. We got a reliever here on the Bears. It's a little hard sometimes for a non-closer to make these Bulls and Bears lists, but Tim Hill did bad enough to do it in the 5 spot. A 7.50 ERA over 12 innings is simply not going to cut it. Ryan McMahon, he actually had a home run tonight, but overall 215 average in that just over a month span, 627 OPS, 26 Ks, absolutely brutal. Bo Bichette, he actually had a good weekend. He between like Thursday and Sunday, he had a lot of multi-hit games, and it's all because I finally put him on my bench in my dynasty league. Finally on the bench, so now he wakes up. Of course he does. But 223 average, 291 on base percentage. 630 OPS. Again, slightly better than McMahon, but when you're paying the guy that much money and the expectations are high, it warrants a higher spot on the list. Mark Vientos, he's had a couple of big home runs and absolutely nothing else. He's looked absolutely miserable of late. 185 average, 207 on base percentage. I mean, I don't think I've seen on base percentage that bad in a long time. 522 OPS. And then at the top of the list, Austin Wells, the only guy to rival Mark Vientos in on-base percentage at 205. 121 average, 27 Ks. I know Rich had on the slide earlier, hitting the IL. That's a good thing. Hey, get him out of that lineup. Anybody, if you're hitting 121 in a month, literally anybody is better behind the plate for you. So Austin Wells is number 1 on the list.
I tried to hold off on that last point that I was gonna make in the Empire Express, but yeah, the catching position has just been awful for the New York Yankees. And Austin Wells got cervical headaches. He's going on IL. Ali Sanchez up, and I think it comes at a good time because these numbers have been pitiful. All right, for the sake of time, we're gonna get right to the Bulls list. Joe, why don't you kick us off?
Yes. So number 1 on our Bulls list. Oh no, I should start at number 5. Number 5 on Bulls list is actually Christian Scott of the New York Mets. Scott's completely flown on the radar this year. I know the innings pitched isn't there. He's basically been a 5-inning pitcher, but off of Tommy John surgery, 2-0 in his last 29 2/3 in, 2.12 ERA. He's been phenomenal. 32 strikeouts, 13 walks. He's been really good for the Mets. He's stabilized the back end of that rotation. He's really making a bid for himself to be in the Mets' future consideration for the rotation. So Christian Scott, welcome to the Bulls list. You've been phenomenal. Number 4 is the Yankee pitcher, Cam Schlittler, who's been equally as phenomenal. 3-2 in 40 innings, 2.23 ERA, 40 strikeouts, 8 walks, 2.76 FIP. And aside from the one start, really, where he gave up 5 runs, I think in a 4 1/3, he's been phenomenal for the Yankees. He's been one of the best pitchers in the AL this year. So he's back on the list. He's dropped 2 spots, not due to his performance, due to the other people above him. But he's on this list again, and he's becoming a staple on this list. So he's number 4. Number 3, and we'll get to why he's number 3 in a second. But number 3 is the Mets rookie Carson Bench. Basically, since May 1st, Carson Bench has been a completely different player than he was his first month in the big leagues. 325 average, hitting leadoff for the Mets, 380 on base percentage, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs. And all he's done is play a phenomenal outfield on top of that. Putting himself in the conversation of the Rookie of the Year conversation for sure. He's going to be there with J.J. Weatherholt and Sal Stewart, presumably, if he keeps this up. He's been phenomenal. He's been one of the few bright spots in the Mets all year. Number 2 is Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt's has stepped up like a former MVP, should step up when other guys go down. Judge is hurt. He's been phenomenal. 313 average, 377 on base percentage, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs in 96 at-bats. Again, Goldschmidt's gone from basically a platoon player, only hitting against lefties, to now basically playing every single day, providing his defense at first, which is an upgrade over Ben Rice. And now he's stepping up when Aaron Judge is hurt. Number 1 is Juan Soto, 250 average, 333 on base percentage, which I'm kind of surprised at. He's been a lot, to me, he's been a lot better than those numbers say. I think if you go and you shrink the sample size the last 3 weeks, he's been insane. 10 home runs, 22 RBIs, 880 plus, 880 OPS. He's been great. He's, of all the problems with the Mets, Juan Soto is not the problem. He's been phenomenal for them, and he's our number 1 Bull of this past month. So,
Joe, what was your issue?
I do have a bone to pick. Ben should be high. Ben should be higher than Goldschmidt.
He should be.
His numbers across the board.
I mean, no, but it's not across the board. Goldschmidt's got a better OPS. He had one more home run. And look, if you're really going to take the bench stats, this is you can flip flop. Bro, it's so close between those two right now. Either one of them can make a play for 2 or 3. And I can actually make an argument that maybe one of these guys should actually probably been in the number 1 spot over Juan Soto. I think their accounting numbers across the board outside of home runs are better. Would you agree?
I think Juan Soto's been. I think we're counting. I think the problem is, I think me and Corey, when we vote for Juan Soto, even though we saw the numbers, I think what we've seen the last 3 weeks
carry the team
outweighed the first week and a half that he came off that injured list. And I think we're kind of thinking what we've seen the last 3 weeks, because if you isolate the numbers the last 3 weeks, he's been insane.
But could you admit, though, because based on a conversation that you wanted to have with me earlier, that this is actually not as bad as you thought it was going to be?
Benj as a rookie should be above Goldschmidt. His average is better. His on-base percentage is better. He's had 30 more at-bats than Goldschmidt. He's playing a borderline Gold Glove in right field at the moment. He should be above Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt started as a platoon player at the beginning of the month, and he's earned his way back basically due to injuries.
But this is what this exercise is all about. Aren't we trying to look into the stock of players that they're giving us more value than they should be giving?
Isn't the rookie that batted $160 the first month of the season hitting 325 over the last?
Isn't the 38-year-old gym teacher stepping up for Aaron Judge being on the IL team that's on the vote more important than your stupid Mets being in last place?
What are we talking about,
Joe? What are we talking about here? Goldschmidt's been more valuable to this team than these two idiots combined. Come on now. The team
had Cam Schlittler won. Tom had Cam Schlittler won.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. One Christian
That's
Scott
ridiculous.
ERA is better than Schlittler.
I'm actually shocked that Scott wasn't higher on this list. I had him above Cam Schlittler myself. I
think the 5 are good. I actually like the list. I did also have Goldschmidt above Benj. I had Soto 1. For me with Goldschmidt, it was 1 more home run, the 1 less RBI, and 30 less at-bats, 50 points higher on the OPS. But it's really splitting hairs. I mean, Benj's also been giving you such a good athlete with his glove, with his arm, with his legs. He's kind of helped re-spark this team. Really so well. I would have no problem if Benj was
He's
above
done really
well
when the Bobby Wallaces of the world wanted to send him right back down to AAA like 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah. And here's the other thing about Soto. We can argue and quibble about Soto all you want. First of all, he's carried the offense, and he's got Mark Vientos protecting him. I mean, you can pull back the bear list and we can look at Mark Vientos' numbers.
Juan Soto. I mean, he should be doing this. Juan Soto right now with Judge being on the IL should be our number 1 every single week.
He should be.
He should be. All right, let's get to it real quick. It is time for the trading floor. So let's ring the damn bell, Joe. All right, because it's time we get into it with our latest and greatest values. Okay, let's start it off. And as we're trying to fly through this, Soto gets up to now 142.50 on ESB. Buck Schlittler up to 117.60. You see Goldschmidt, Carson Benj, and Christian Scott flip on to this side of the list. We go to the bottom feeders here. And Mark Vientos somehow got to a 3 on his value. So I can avoid Mark Vientos. Austin Wells 2 down to 10. Absolute garbage. Tim Hill making his debut on the Bears list, and as is Bo Bichette, as you see here, updated on our graphic. Now let's go investor to investor. Corey Favs, we'll start with you. Corey kept the Juan Soto and Mark Vientos investment, and it worked out. You stuck to your guns. I think you can eat the Vientos drop because it wasn't a significant drop because it was already low to begin with. For Juan Soto going up to 142.50. So Corey, talk to me, pal. What do you want to do here with your investment?
So this is where it gets interesting because Juan Soto is a pure blue chip stock, but I then have to live and die by the one player. It's like, do I live with the blue chip? Do I do the Tom strategy? And we know how the Tom strategy worked last year. He was in first for the longest time. Then he ended up finishing in like third place. So all it takes is a 2-week stretch for Soto to be average to all of a sudden I'm in the gutter. So part of me is like, do I diversify a little bit? And I think I might I have an idea to kind of make it a little more fun and get my stock out of the one player, at least for a 2-week period.
Okay,
I'm
talk to
going
me.
to sell Soto and Vientos both.
Okay, so
Put
if you
myself at
sell
what,
it those
145?
two,
5, right?
if Vientos is 3, yeah, it's 145.50.
145.
And I don't believe you had. I don't think you had anything left over. No, you did not. So
All right. So
you
this is
have
what I'm going to do.
145.50. Let's hear
Yep.
it.
All right.
Can't wait.
I'm going to give myself, I think McLean losing a couple of bucks got his value back. So I'm going to take McLean for 65.
Okay, down to 80.
I'm going to take I'll take a gentleman who's not on our list yet, but just came back. I'll take Garrett Cole for 50.
Oh, I like that.
I'm going to take
I
Garrett
like that
Cole
a
for
lot.
50 because he's a guy who could find his way back up.
You still have 30 and a half if you want to go down the route.
Yeah.
Let me flip to the other page that you can go. Look at
30
these.
to play with.
Look at all that shit for you right there.
If I had 35, I might have took Bichette. Do I take a gamble on Devin Williams? You know what? I'm gonna hold the $30.
That's good. I think that's a smart move.
I'm gonna hold it.
I think that's the smart move there. So Garrett Cole for 50, McLean for 65. So selling Juan Soto to diversify your assets. Is that like the right term there? So shout out to you. All right, Joe, let's get to you and see what you got for us. Joe, 3 guys here, and 2 of them are on the Bears list, unfortunately. You went to Cody Bellinger, didn't get you anything there. Bichette went from 50 down to 35, and Wells went down from 20 to 10. So overall, I think you lost, 25 in that overall value?
Yeah,
so talk to me, Joe. What do you want to do?
Not great.
No.
God, why did I take Austin Wells? God.
You're feeling generous, I guess.
So if I sold everything, I have 95 out of 105.
And you have the 1. You also have a 1.
106. So give me
11, 35, and 65.
Yeah, give me. Let's go back to the lists here. Let's see what.
Hold on, I want to make sure your math is correct. Yeah. And 111.
111. I'm sorry.
111. All right, let's look back at the list here. Let's see what you got.
111.
Your highest, you could go to as far
Freedom
as
below
goes, you go to Rodon. That's your highest active guy. You're talking high on Carson Ben. She's 58.5. Maybe you can go with that and a base value. I think that option's there for you.
Yeah. So I'm definitely selling Wells. So that'll give me 11. And then 11, what's 11 plus 35? It's 46.
46.
Let's go to the Bears for a second.
You look at the 40. Let's take a look at your trash here. You get Jazz. You could hope that Jazz could turn it around. I know you're a big Jazz.
He's one of those guys that could have a good week,
right?
Bo, I'm almost tempted to hold Bo because at some point he's gonna click. But let's sell all 3. I think I'll do. You know what? I'm gonna go with Corey. I'm gonna say give me Garrett Cole.
So you're selling all 3 of them. You're taking on Cole, which is 50. So you're down to 61.
And I'm down to 61. All right. So give me Cole and Carson Bench. Give me Cole.
Which would be a move. Yep. So Cole for 50 and then Bench for 58.5.
Yep. And then
math. 111 minus 50 minus 58.5 down to 2.5. Do you want to give Volpe a flyer?
Give me Volpe.
Give me Volpe.
Give me an investment on a penny stock.
There you go.
Penny stock.
Volpe getting a lot of love just for the value alone. Gotta love it. All right.
Yep.
There you go. So Volpe, Cole, and Carson Bench. So Cole getting some good love here from the group. Now, I would typically ask Tom what he would do. Tom's not here, though. What Tom did, though, is he got Cam Schlitter to 117.60. He lost $2 out of Mark Vientos, and he's also holding on to Anthony Volpe. Guy didn't show up to work, guys. Didn't tell me who he's invested in. To me, he's just keeping all these guys.
We still got a good stock, though.
I think we're just going to hold for Tom. He's probably going to bitch about that and say it's not fair. Nobody asked me anything. But he's not here. So he's holding. Are we good with that? We go with him just holding?
Let's do it.
All right. So Tom's holding. Tom's holding his stock. Schlittler, Vientos, Volpe, and then this last leaves me. We're at 8:35, so I got to really rush through this. 8:35. Now 8:36. Nolan McLean and Ben Rice. Now, Rice didn't gain any value, but I feel like, again, Rice is always just going to be in that position where I think he can do some significant damage. Let's see here. If I dump McLean, I'm at 70. What can I do at 70 if I want to hold on to Rice on the side? I feel like Rice is just never going to be bad enough where he's going to get on the Bears list. So it's either I'm just like keeping his value or he's going up. He's got to be, and like he hasn't yet to have that kind of stretch in quite some time. 70. Not doing it on Goldschmidt, obviously not doing it on Holmes. You know what? Let's show some Yankee love. I'm literally swapping McLean for Bellinger.
All right.
Going Belly and Rice. They're going to step up while Judge is out. So we'll Yankee-fy my assets here, and we'll go Bellinger and keeping Ben Rice. And I think we're good with that. So that will be it. And that is our trading for, ladies and gentlemen. And for the most part, that is our show. So couple things. First, make sure to give us a follow on X. At ESP Podcast is the main page. Give us a follow on our subsidiaries as well. ESP NYM for all your Mets content, led by these two guys above me. ESP NYY, led by your boy and the rest of our crew at ESP NYY, hosts a great show called The Bronx Take. This is live Monday through Wednesdays for the most part, 1 p.m. Eastern time. All the Yankees conversations happening there at A Bronx Take. Also, make sure to stay tuned for our post-game show. It's called BX2X. Big Slick's been doing a great job holding it down for the most part. Christy Evans has also been hosting some of these shows as well. So make sure to check out BX2X, which has been scattered, really sporadic schedule. It's not every game. I wouldn't put that on Big Slick or Chris. So make sure to tune in to BX2X. And we have Queens Boulevard, hosted by Phil from Shirley on Fridays. And we'll be back with Queens Boulevard later on in the week. But that's going to do it for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 165. Shout out to the 55 of you who are here. And usually, yes, we usually draw a little bit bigger of a crowd than that, but I know the Knicks are going on. A lot is happening around basketball right now. Not many people care about what's happening in June for baseball. We're getting close to the trade deadline season. Obviously, that's a big time for us. We're getting close to All-Star season as well. So there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to baseball. So we're not worried in the slightest. Obviously, we got a big thing going on tonight with the New York Knicks. So we're going to end the show by just saying that. Let's go Knicks. All right, Corey, Joe, wrap us up.
Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks.
Let's do it.
That building's packed. The vibes are great. All the everybody's worried that nobody can get in. That building is packed out, man.
Hopefully by the next time we meet, we have a new champion.
Yep.
100%. And it's the New York Knicks. Who would have thought? All righty, folks. Let's go, Knicks. Enjoy the game tonight. And we'll see you next Monday. I won't be here, but the fellas will be. We'll see you then. Take care.